What's up, y'all? It's Kenny Comments here, chilling with Kenny C right here on TMVCafe.com. I'm switching things up for this particular show because, it's been a minute since I've done a WrestleMania theme show since 2021 when Triple Threat Wrestling Radio came to an end. So, in honor of the spectacle for this past weekend, I thought I'd bring it back for tonight only, but I couldn't do this alone. I had to get a friend on board, and my guest, hip hop artist out of Louisville, Kentucky, Mixed Feelings, the latest single out right now. Not only is he a passionate wrestling fan, but he literally had a rap battle this past weekend on WrestleMania. So fireworks before the fireworks. I joined with the one and only Peter Wesley. How's it going, man?
Oh man, it's going good. It's going good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for joining me for this special edition of the show, man. I appreciate it, man.
Oh man, thanks for having me. And hearing you earlier, man, the wrestling talk is still going past WrestleMania with the
Yeah,
things going on Dynamite.
yeah,
It's a crazy situation.
yeah. So we're gonna definitely get to WrestleMania for sure. But I was talking about it before I pressed the record button. So basically, the Young Bucks did post reveal the footage for All In. I thought I must have said All Out. I meant All In because that's two separate instances. All In, Punk, Perry, altercation. Punk
I
did an
I
interview last week, said some things. And then I'm watching it. I'm like, no way they're gonna do this. There is no way they are going to post this footage. Just a week removed from Punk's interview, and they did. And I'm like, what was the point of this? Like, and you put FTR in a very awkward situation. They're friends with Punk, by the way. At least think they still are. We'll see. But
yeah, I believe they still are, but
I
they did
mean,
that. They did do a weird promo where they were, defending AEW against his comments. But so, I mean, like you said, they're in a weird position.
yeah, very, very odd. But man, what was your reaction when you saw that footage last night?
Man, when it was first announced, I honestly thought that was a Photoshop on the picture. I was like, nobody's doing that. And I went on AEW's IG page and I didn't see it, but it was in the slides. It wasn't the first one. It was like you had to keep scrolling and see it. And when I seen that, I still thought like, oh, this is going to be some goofy comedy, thing. They're going to find some silly clip from backstage. They're not going to really show the fight. I thought it was a bad idea because honestly, it went pretty just as much along with what Punk said. And it ruins that narrative of Tony Khan saying he feared for his life and all of that.
Yeah,
It went pretty much along with what Punk said. So why even pull it out?
yeah. And I've had my mixed feelings for Punk for most of his career. And this is the weird time when I'm saying he was right all along.
Yeah,
He was 100. He doesn't bite his tongue for anybody, and you know it was a bad idea. Like
bad idea.
actual,
And,
actual,
and when we see it, the fight is pretty mild.
yeah,
And you in a situation in anything where you got a bunch of like any competitive situation where you got a bunch of guys is amped up. I mean any sport, anything like that. There's tends going to be some disagreements. It might be a little
yeah,
scuffle here and there. That just is a part of it's just a part of the game. So, I mean, it wasn't a crazy violent
yeah,
situation. That's something that should have been handled by the boys. Nobody should have seen it. We should have,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's just. Tony Khan, he's got to take an L on this one. Like
Yeah.
and the Bucks too, since they're pettiness knows no bounds. They're the EVPs, and it feels like it's getting similar treatment to what happened with Cody and Rock at the SmackDown episode, in which Cody's like, "I'm not gonna fight you at WrestleMania." It's felt like that kind of backlash of sorts. I
It
mean,
does.
it's just it's just bad, man. Like, and
And after everything had happened around the time of All In, the fans, in AEW was on Tony and the Bucks side. I remember even in Chicago, like they were on their side, and now things change. They're chanting for CM Punk at Dynamite. That's not good.
yes, yes, yes. His name gets chanted everywhere, but you literally give the fans a reason to do that. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just not good for them.
No, not at all.
And I like to believe that we cheer for the talent there. Like they
Yeah,
got
yeah. I
talent.
I, I
They,
love AEW and I want it to
yeah,
succeed, man.
I do, but they may need some changes from the
Definitely,
heads up. Um,
definitely.
like with Tony Khan, he's way over his head, and the Young Bucks are just not fitted to their roles as EVPs.
I
Um,
think showing that footage proves everything Punk said about Khan was right. He's a really nice guy, but not a boss.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, nice guy. You can't play the nice guy and be a boss, especially in a wrestling business. Like, this ain't the Jacksonville Jaguars, bro. This or NFL sports team. You got individuals trying to get opportunities, and then things like this happens. It's just bad. But that's not the only firework.
nah.
Osprey popped off. He didn't take too kind of Triple H's blind comment. I guess basically saying that if you can't hang with our schedule, don't come here or something like that.
Yeah,
And then Osprey, he had to, you could say, it's a cheap shot, say, "Oh, the reason you in the position you in is because of Stephanie." Um, and I'm like, Triple H been hearing that for forever. He was
yeah,
a
yeah,
he was a world champion before the storyline. With he was winning championships. He was a main event guy before Stephanie came into the picture. So he was punished for '96 for the whole curtain call thing with Nash,
yeah.
with Hall, and HBK. He the one took the heat. So he was in the mud long before then. He had to work his way to where he is now. So I mean, I
And a
get
couple things about that. Um, I will say the Young Bucks playing that footage reminds me of DX when they played footage from Curtain Call. The only difference is WWF didn't advertise that to happen. That was just something they did on the show.
yeah,
AEW used that as a selling point.
yeah,
Um, and so that was a bad idea. And then also, while I agree with you. Triple H has been hearing that comment. It's kind of ran through him. It's been done. But I will say, I mean, Will Ospreay did need to defend himself. I understand where he was coming
yeah,
from. This was on Pat McAfee's show. This is people have been running,
yeah.
headlines about this, and everyone's been suggesting the comment was about him. So I understand why a response was made.
Yeah.
But it didn't need to be made on Dynamite. It didn't need.
Yeah. And Renee Paquette, who conducted Osprey's interview, she's friends with Stephanie. So it goes
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to FTR caught in an awkward situation. And Shivani, his reaction before the footage was even shown, he was not a happy camper.
No, no.
And
And
this is
he's a guy, he doesn't care about that kind of stuff. He even commented on his podcast about Punk's interview. He was just like, yeah, yeah, I don't care about it. So I hate that he's put in that position because Tony Schiavone's he's in a place where he could retire. I mean, they
yeah.
asked him to come there. He didn't go looking for a job. They
Uh,
asked him to be a part of that. So, and I'm a Tony Schiavone fan. So I hate to see him in that type of
yeah.
situation.
Shivani been chilling ever
Yeah,
since
yeah,
the WCW closed its doors, just
having a
hanging
good
out,
time at home.
just enjoying life. And then they knocked on his door.
Yeah, yeah,
So he wasn't begging for a job. Like he was cool with what he was accomplished in
yeah.
WCW.
He
So
has a. I don't know if you've checked it out. He has a really cool podcast
yeah,
where he just goes back and watches and reacts to old wrestling clips, mostly WCW, but sometimes like some ECW and WWF stuff. But
yeah.
it's a pretty fun podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely respect the Shivani. Um and it was it was quite a night for AEW yesterday. So
Yeah, yeah,
but let's get to WrestleMania night one. Um, so we got the tag team titles split up officially. And then there was Jay Cargill's debut, Sammy and Gunther. Oh my goodness. That
yeah,
was
yeah,
bananas. And then Rhea and Becky kicked off the show.
yeah.
And it was quite a Latino representation with Ray, Andrade, Santos, and Dom. And of course, Rock and Roman, Cody and Seth. What was your takeaway for night one? What stood out to you? What was your the memories of the moments that stood out to you?
Night one was it was entertaining. I liked Rhea's entrance. Um, I'm enjoying this year run that she's had with the belt. She won it last year's WrestleMania, and then to come back and defend it and win it against Becky Lynch, who's one of the top names in women's wrestling. I mean, that's incredible. Um, we had the second annual multi-man Latino match.
Yeah.
It they're always entertaining. I don't know how Dominic just shoehorned himself into that match, but I'm not complaining. Uh, the tag match now that was very interesting because people have been talking about how those belts should be split up again, and they didn't tell you that. At least I didn't hear him say it until the match where you seen
Yeah.
they had two sets, and I was like, oh, okay, we got the possibility of having two champions now.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I thought the match was really good. Yeah, it's Sammy and Gunther. Oh my God, what was that movie pulled again? I haven't seen him do that. I've seen him do it in the past in the Indies, but I don't think he's done that in WWE.
No,
And
uh-uh.
oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah. So A Time Down Under.
Yes,
I kind of hate that name.
I don't like the
Waller,
name, but I like
Wa-
them.
yeah, Theory and Waller.
Yes,
So they won the SmackDown tag team titles, and their night pretty much ended after they retrieved those titles. They were literally out of the picture, like literally.
yeah. I think they
But
may have popped up once and then got
yeah,
thrown off the ladder or something.
yeah, something like that. And then Awesome Truth, they win the wall titles,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was our Truth's WrestleMania moment. That was his first win in
That's
WrestleMania
crazy.
ever. Like,
That's
and
crazy.
this dude, he looks like the same dude, like literally from like
Yeah.
20 some years ago when he was at NWA TNA, and he's become the dude that the laugh relief, but he still can move in that ring. He still can compete, and just seeing him interact with the Judgment Day, it was giving us some bloodline vibes a little bit with Sammy,
Yeah, yeah,
and
definitely was.
just he. Damian Priest lost it almost every time. Like he couldn't keep a straight face. Uh, but man, I'm so happy for Truth just to get that moment, and also Truth and Miz trying to. It's kind of odd seeing him as a face again, but having to put up with Truth makes it a compelling team. So I'm cool with them winning the world titles. I'm just cool with Truth just getting that opportunity, just to
Oh,
get that
definitely.
moment. So he's one of the OGs at this point. Like he's a national treasure. So he's seeing him get that was pretty cool. Becky, she had a strep throat and she had a 102 fever um
Yeah,
going into
yeah.
that match, and it was the opening match, and she did her thing. Um Rhea Ripley, like the way she looked for the Mae Young Classic to now, just this evolution of her. And this woman is in her mid 20s. She's not 30, 35 years old. She's in her mid 20s still. And it feels like we've gone from the horsewoman era of the woman division. We're moving into the Rhea slash Bianca era right now, because
Yeah,
they
it does.
it feels like they building the division around those two. And Rhea has now been a champion for over a year now. So she's incredible. I think we know she's the real leader of the Judgment Day this whole time, especially since they moved on from the Edge. She took the helm, and now let's see what happens with her and Liv Morgan after what happened at the War After Mania. Because Liv got some unfinished business with Rhea. So, and she wasn't even at WrestleMania at
Not at
all.
all.
So
Not at
she
all.
the revenge tour is officially resumed. Now, Rock was there for 44 minutes. People didn't think he was gonna go the distance like that, but he did. Um,
He wasn't
and
showing any signs of being able to.
yeah, and it was like, who's gonna be the one to be pinned? And with this being revolving around Cody, I could understand him being the one taking the pin. Like it wasn't like the worst feeling in the world. And it kind of gives the hope, the possibility, Rock versus Cody down the road. Gonna look back at that, and Cody's gonna want to get his lick back. But then you see the spear Roman did on Rock, and I'm like, okay, we got at least give them a reason to what led to that point, a potential feud between those two. So Rock and Woman, that's definitely in the cards as well. I mean, Seth had a long weekend
Yes,
with
he
the
did.
he had a long with the costume changes, and man, he's the unsung hero of this weekend. He said he was going to be the Shield, and we'll get into night two in just a bit. But man, three different costume changes in 2 nights, and that cold Philadelphia weather. Um,
Yeah,
so
I keep forgetting it was so cold out and they were
yeah,
outside in Philly.
it was a norm that Michael Cole had to keep bringing up the weather. I like, am I watching wrestling or am I watching a football game? Like enough
But
with the weather.
did he do it on night one? because
Yes.
I noticed it night 2, but I
Yeah.
also noticed night 1 on Twitter, everybody kept talking about how cold it was.
Yeah. He
So I don't know. I
mentioned.
thought he was responding to that.
Yeah, he talked about the weather pretty much throughout night one. They keep
Okay,
bringing up the
okay,
temperature. But night two, he only mentioned it like two times in 3 hours or such.
okay.
Uh
Maybe I just didn't notice in night 1, but I did
yeah,
notice him doing it awful a lot. And then they put
yeah.
like the graphics for the weather,
Yeah,
like it was the Weather Channel.
yeah, yes. That's what exactly what I'm referring to. Cold is 50 degrees, 52 degrees, 54 degrees. This sounds like something like out of a football game. And yes, it's at a football stadium,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's wrestling, man. These are wrestlers. Like, it's not the Super Bowl when they gotta be in 20 degrees weather. They'll be okay. At least I think they will.
Hopefully.
So yeah, so that was night one. Gunther, now Sammy, I gotta talk Sammy. Like, he's building quite the resume for
He
WrestleMania these
is.
past few years. The Johnny Knoxville match, that was a match that not people didn't think it was going to be over, but man, they delivered. Knoxville, to his credit, he did what he could, and the Jackass cast was on board with it as well. And then last year, main event night one with KO against the Usos. So yeah, he's become the title reign slayer. Because not only you in the tag team title reign of all time, you now ended the Intercontinental Championship reign of all time. Uh, so Sammy, he's building quite the resume, and after everything that Sammy's been through, all the adversity, it just feels like he's really being utilized the way that people hope that he'd be utilized.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely, definitely.
so Gunther, man, he's gonna be a future world champion. Like, he's over exceed expectations with his reign, with his persona from Walter to now, all chiseled, lean, but he still chops you hard. Like, it kind of takes me back to the UK days when he chopped Dragunov. Every
Yeah.
time I see that chop and see the look on Dragunov's face, I'm like, dude, why are you fighting this guy? he his hands is a weapons of mass destruction. Like, Gunther, he's already a big star. But
Yeah, yeah,
man,
definitely.
he's gonna be a future world champion. And it's just a matter of how do you follow that historic reign that he got? How do you follow that? What's going to happen with him and Imperium? What's the future holds for the Wayne General? Uh, but yeah, Sammy, good for him. Back to back championship wins at WrestleMania, getting the respect that he truly deserves, and fans that stood by him this whole time. So yeah, props to Sammy for sure. Now let's get to night two. Night two was, when I first looked at night two, I was thinking, man, it felt like night one got the better card of night two. Uh,
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it just felt that way. But then watching it, I'm like, okay, there were some moments there, like of course Bobby and the Prophets beating the Final Testament, Snoop Dogg on commentary. Like, Snoop Dogg is a national treasure. Like, this dude, if you want to hear to host WrestleMania, he can do that. If you want him in commentary, he can do that. If you want him to interview somebody, he can do that. He can do no wrong. Don't give him no script. Don't give him anything to say. Just
And
let
it didn't sound like he had a script. It sounded like he
nah.
just said
Oh
whatever
no.
came to mind.
No, when you hit up with the for shizzle dizzles in between, nah, that was no script. from Snoop Dogg at all. So, and then with the way that he reacted when B-Fab and Scarlett got involved, I was like, okay, ladies, do your thing, do your thizzle, do your thizzle, thizzle. Uh, man, and then of course Bubba Ray, he was smiling big when they prophets did the wise up with the headbutt. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that was, of course, with it being in Philadelphia, you had to add also some extreme
Yeah,
portion.
we needed some sort of
Yeah,
ECW influence in that show.
yeah.
I wish we had more, but yeah, that was a
Oh
nice
yeah.
touch.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Now to the aforementioned Seth Rollins. So Drew McIntyre, I have enjoyed his one. I have enjoyed his heel one these last few months, mocking CM Punk, telling Seth Rollins, why are you part of this tag team match? You should be focused on me. Yeah, yeah, he's got the t-shirt with the meme in the casket. Uh I'm like, man, just give him the title. Like he's on fire right now. So, and then this dude had the gall to tweet while he's in the middle of a match. He said, I'm bored at work, LOL. I'm like, no way.
Hilarious.
I'm like, there's no way he literally did that. I guess that was his wife or fiance that gave
I
him
think,
call.
yeah, I think so. And I mean, to do that in a championship match at WrestleMania live, that is awesome. You know, to just sit there, take a selfie, and then use that to tweet during the match. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
come on, who wouldn't want to do something like that?
That was a savage moment. And I'm like, man, just give him the title. So he does actually wins the match. And then he's having, coming at Punk while he's on commentary and got carried away. And then Punk, who had the arm brace on at the time, he unleashed on him. And he took the brace off and started attacking him. And then you hear that here come
Almost
Priest.
like that internet meme of them coming in to interrupt.
Yeah. Almost like
Perfect time.
almost a Triple H meme.
Yeah, yeah, the Triple H meme when the music comes on, pretty much spot on.
Yeah, so of course, Priest, timing is everything. Now, of course, he couldn't cash it a while back because Wallace was hurt and Roman was really on it weak. So of course he had the tag team titles with Finn. You lose the titles on night one, and of course night two, that's a perfect opportunity, knowing Seth is hurt, banged up, and Cody, he's about to go to war. So, but at the end, I'm cool with Priest winning the world title. Um, first,
Same.
say the first Puerto Rican to win the world title since Pedro Morales 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've been walking with Priest since he was Punishment Martinez from Ring of Honor prior to Tony Khan purchasing it. He has some potential, went to NXT and he showed some potential there. But man, when Judgment Day got put together, I'm like, okay. And then he wins the briefcase. Oh my goodness, he might win a world title, and he does. So, I mean, Priest, and he's had some big moments, like
Yeah, he definitely has.
he had some moments, including Bad Bunny at Backlash last year. If you haven't seen the Bad Bunny entrance of Backlash, go look it up on the internet. Just the crowd singing word for word. That was fire.
Yeah,
Uh,
that might be a top five, top 10 uh wrestling entrance of all
yeah.
time.
So Absolutely. Then you got LA and AJ. So the initials match, as I like to call it. The initials. Uh LA getting the huge pop. AJ debuts a new theme song. We didn't even get to hear, we didn't get a feel for it because AJ just rushed straight to the ring and him and LA start fighting each other.
And that was
Uh
so weird because he had been talking online saying, check out, I'm gonna have some interesting music playing at
yeah,
WrestleMania. He's all hinting to a new song,
yeah,
and then you hear 5 seconds of it, then he runs to the ring and starts
yeah.
fighting.
That was probably the most odd moment of the weekend. Like you debuting a new theme song. Let that song breathe a little bit, AJ. Let it breathe a little bit.
His emotions took over, and
Yeah,
he
the emotions took over. A very personal feud with LA. Of course, LA got the victory there. Logan Paul, KO, and Randy. There were some moments there. Um, I show speed. For a second, I thought that was KSI again. But
I did too. Honestly, I thought until Pat McAfee said something different.
yeah,
Or Corey Graves, I forgot one of them said something
yeah.
different, and I was like, oh, okay. I really thought it was KSI. I thought it was KSI ever since I seen the bottle come out. I was like, oh, KSI is coming back, and then
Yeah, it's just, and then Randy hit him with a drop kick, and then he slid once he went to the ground. That was perfect spot right there.
oh
Uh,
yeah.
and of course, this is the first premium event with the Prime logo in the middle of the ring,
What'd
and
you think
it's.
of that? The Prime logo there.
I mean, I thought it was gonna be like the colors, like the bottle itself, but
Yeah, yeah.
other than that, I wasn't too bothered by it. I watched.
No, me neither.
I mean,
I
it
think
was.
I think the
Yeah,
show started with Becky getting pinned on it. I might be
yeah,
wrong, but
yeah.
yeah.
So a lot of people were doing moves in the Prime logo.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
almost felt like an NBA jam, like the hot spot,
Yeah,
hitting
yeah.
three. So
That's gonna be dope. So, and
yeah,
then
so
in the future, more companies are gonna pay for
yeah,
that space. So, I'm waiting to see people get slammed on
yeah.
various different logos.
So real quick with Bailey and Io Sky, um, good storytelling leading up to that matchup. Bailey didn't get the entrance that she wanted with Paramore due to scheduling conflicts.
Oh,
And she's
I didn't know about that. She
yeah,
wanted Paramore to do that.
yeah, she wanted Paramore to perform. They were unable to do the scheduling conflicts, so they went with the interest that she had.
What
And
song were they gonna do if they did
I
pick?
I totally I don't remember the name of the song.
Okay.
I just heard that through Bailey, she wanted Paramore to do a song
Ah,
of her going to
okay.
the ring. So that is what I heard through Bailey's side. But that was a good match
Yeah, yeah.
as
Oh, really
well.
good match.
And it was surreal that Bailey, that was her first singles match in WrestleMania. And man, she made it count. She made it
Oh,
matter. And just being the selfless person that she is, just being like a mentor to EO and Dakota, and knowing that she was going to eventually get her big moment in the end. It was a special moment for Bailey, and she's she earned that moment. So props to her.
dope
Um,
moment. There was a part in that match where I so slowly turned on the EO side,
yeah,
and when she went for that rose plant and EO reversed it, oh
yeah.
man, I was sold. I
The
was like,
flip,
yeah, I wanted to
yes,
finish her tonight. I
yes,
wanted that was so
yeah.
good.
I mean, EO is just incredible. She's
Oh
just so
yes, yes.
gifted. So yeah. Now Cody Rhodes and that Bloodline Rules match. Talk about I think we all knew it was gonna be dramatic. It was gonna be like an obstacle course type of feel. And so we knew some of the star power was going to be there. It was just a matter of who. So then you had Jimmy, then you had Jay, had that brother to brother moment, spear off the stage. Then Solo,
Crazy.
almost a replay of last year.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
John wanted that receipt from Crown Jewel, and he got it. Attitude adjustment through the ring, and he attitude adjusted Roman as well. And then here
Yes.
comes Dwayne. He wanted the receipt for 10 years ago when he won the rematch. He gets to rock bottom, and then the lights goes off. You hear that gong, and it's like that did not just get done, man. He said no costume, just the hoodie, the head bandana, and then I'm a choke slam. Yeah,
And that's great with me. I'm always my favorite version, I might be in the minority in this. My
yeah,
favorite version of The Undertaker is the biker taker. American Badass is
yeah,
my favorite taker. Maybe there might be a little edge to either right behind it or right in front of it would be the
yeah.
Attitude Era Ministry of Darkness taker. But
Ministry, yeah, Ministry of
yeah, those
Darkness.
are my two favorites.
Yeah, and the Cody getting to finish the story in that
Yeah.
fashion, good for him. I know our time is up, 40-minute limit. It's almost up. But thank you, Peter Wesley, for your
Oh
time.
man, thanks for having me.
Check out Mixed Feelings' latest single out on the
Thank you,
streaming
thank you.
platforms. He's got more music on the way.
Oh, always.
So thank you, man. Props to you. And it was a good time for WrestleMania weekend. It was a weekend to remember. You take care, man. Thanks for your